Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the month of April. Now, I'm just going to close my eyes and let my guides channel through to you and we'll just see what comes up for April of 2022. Now, I'm definitely getting that people are really tired and this all feels like a really lost cause. I'm getting in April there's this future of the game, we could call it the game, feels very uncertain to a lot of people. Now, what they're saying in April, the scheduling and the timing of everything is being done to perfection. So it's like things are going to roll out in a successive order, and this is globally. They're going to start rolling things out now and implementing the things that are going to still cause some sort of divide. Now, this could be around the credit scoring. It could be around digital passports. These things are going to start to really come out more in April. And I believe it's actually the truths around these things. This is, I believe, a lot around that digital identity system in April. Things are scheduled to go ahead a lot in April. That's definitely what I'm getting. So it's almost like the releasing of the gate. So they're opening that gate and they're allowing these things now to be implemented and for these things to happen. They've actually held back a bit. I did say March, there'd probably be a little lull period around now, which is what they've done, that the fake normal. But now I think things are going to kick back into action come April. And look, they're not even going to be hiding these things. They're just going to say, well, we're just implementing it and that's how it is. It's very, very strange. And this is where it's coming back to people are not going to trust their governments. I feel in April there's going to be a lot of kickback. People have lost faith in their governments, and this is on a global scale. When they hadn't released honest and genuine information, it tends to cause people's trust to wane. Now, when you've been dishonest on such a large and enormous scale, which we know that they have, people just go into shock. And I've talked about this before. It is a shock to find out that you have been played, and people go into that feeling embarrassed, feeling ashamed. They feel like they've been, I'm just trying to think of what the word is, violated is the word I'm looking for. People are going to feel violated. And not just because they kind of fell for the narrative, but they're going to feel violated because now they've got something in their body and they're frightened. People are getting scared. I'm not joking. This is happening. People are not keen to have boosters. People are not keen about this moving forward. We're certainly hearing a lot about China and their zero tolerance to all this and how everybody's having to be tested. Everybody's getting jabbed. And this is that communism. This is where a lot of us are heading if we don't start to fight back and get our freedoms. Now, that's something that's definitely coming up in April. A lot, and I mean a lot. I mean an enormous amount of people are going to feel like they have been violated. And I tell you what, they're not happy. They're going to be pissed and they're going to be angry. I'll just see what else comes up. It's almost showing me like in April there's going to be like this code red where there's like the emergency. Everybody's going to go into this emergency. And it's not emergency like lockdowns, but it's like emergency of how do we handle this situation. People are going to be in another uproar and they are going to be pissed off. And this is going to really take away that trust in government. People are going to start to definitely start questioning the media. And what are the truths? Why are we being told these being told these things and they may not be true when we had other options and we could have saved lives? This is the kind of stuff that I reckon is starting to spill out in April. There's a lot more exposure. This is what's going to be happening. A lot more exposure of the truths, and why wasn't, I'm not going to say it, why weren't other options used? There's certain tablets and things that you can use that have been proven to work very well with people, but these options weren't even looked at. Like, why was it all just, we went down the big pharma road and what they were saying to us, and there was only kind of one science or one person we were listening to, which we could pretty much say is Fauci, which no one has faith in anyway, and all these other doctors were silenced and dismissed. And that is going to really wake a lot of people up in April, and I believe that they're very, very scared and uncomfortable with the mess that they are now finding themselves in. And that's what I'm getting for April. I'm getting exposure, I'm getting fear, dread, what people have done to themselves by injecting things and following that narrative. And that's why people are going to start to become very confused and not have that faith in their governments anymore. I mean, gosh, we all know what happened in Canada. You guys over there just, oh my goodness, you hit a real roadblock when it came to standing up for your freedoms. And, you know, that's going to come out more and more within different countries. They can only sort of hide these things for so long until people start to talk and tell their truths, whether that's with vaccine injuries. These things are getting shared, and this is the key. You always keep sharing this information and planting those seeds. I talk about that a lot. I talked about that in yesterday's video. You might plant that seed, but then that'll synchronicity and signs and that will get back to that person, and that's when they start to join the dots and they do the maths, and then they start to add things up. Well, this doesn't make sense. Why are they saying that? But then that must have been a lie. So it's almost like people are looking back over this journey in the last 2 years, and they're starting to realize that something isn't adding up. How come 2 years on we're still reliving this? And this is what I'm saying about, if there's other options that could have stopped it in its tracks, why were we not given those options? And we could have saved a lot of lives. And I really believe in April that this is what's starting to filter out, and that's a good thing. We want some more truths to be coming out. Like I said, it takes time, and it takes time for people to piece it all together and get their head around it. But we have to trust that this is unraveling at a good pace, because it allows people to work it out for themselves rather than anyone who's trying to freedom fighter or light workers trying to bombard people with that information. You just plant those little seeds, and this is what happens. It just keeps growing. So I feel like in April, that's definitely something I'm getting. There's going to be this real lack of trust in government from a lot of people as they are slowly waking up. I do get a very scratchy throat sometimes, sorry, when I'm reading, because it's that, I talk about it a lot, it's the chimney, it's finding your voice. So anything to do with the throat, sometimes we can jam up a lot in the throat. So apologies if I get a lot. I have to clear my throat because a lot of us out there are very jammed up and we're not having our voices heard, and it feels very frustrating. And when you've got things trapped or suppressed in your body, it's very hard to sort of get them out, and that's sometimes why I get that bit of a tickle in my throat when I'm talking, so excuse me for that. But it's just that a lot of you out there are obviously feeling very jammed up in your throat, and you feel like sometimes you don't have a voice and you have to hide a lot of and suppress a lot of things that you actually want to say to people. But like I said, you've also got to respect that and allow people to wake up at their own pace. So I'll see what else comes up for April. Now I'm getting a lot of funding is going to the capitals. So if we think of the capitals, we're thinking of the major cities, or we're thinking of the elites that are running our particular countries and their governments. Now they are getting a lot of funding, and I believe could be a lot of what has been hidden, is that a lot of these people that are representing our countries are getting enormous amount of funding, and I think people would be completely horrified if they knew the amounts. And I believe this is from, for example, Big Pharma. We've got BlackRock. We've got all these people who pretty much own everything and are taking all the money away from the little people. I believe this is some of the stuff that might be starting to get exposed in April, and this is why people are going to go into such shock, because the amount of money that is being distributed to these people is going to really shock people. And then this is when it's going to add up, because they're going to realize, oh my gosh, no wonder they're pushing these agendas. If they're getting paid this much to sell this amount of vaccines, or this is how it kind of works down the line, then now I understand why they were pushing this agenda so hard. So a lot of people, I feel, in April will be realizing that this has been a monetary agenda. I think we could pretty much say that most of this hasn't been around health, because as most of us realize, this has probably been the flu or some sort of variant or variation of the flu. But this has been about power and money and implementing the way they want the economy running in the future. So this is what I'm getting in April. There's going to be, I feel, more exposure of the truths, and the truths meaning the political gains, the monetary proportions of what people are being paid to kind of prop all this agenda up. And I think that's going to really shock people, and that's what I'm definitely getting for April. I'll just see if there's anything else. I get New Zealand's really struggling. Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden. There's so many countries, UK, Britain, even here in Australia. A lot of these countries are really struggling now. This is becoming a financial trauma. This is going to lead to a lot of financial trauma for a lot of people. These global elites are sitting on their perches and their thrones, and they're looking down and laughing at everybody, because now they have the control of the finances of the masses. Now, this is what I'm definitely getting in April, that people are going to be, in a lot of these countries, very fearful moving forward, because they can see the writing on the wall of where this is heading. Everything is going up, 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 and it is causing people to stagnate again. We stagnated over the last 2 years pretty much anyway, because we had lockdowns, everybody. But in a lot of these countries, we're going to stagnate again. And it's not going to be around health and viruses. It's going to be about finances now. And it's like people are just going to roll their eyes and go, oh my God, what is happening here? We're going through this again. But now we're going through it on a financial scale, like because of financial reasons rather. And this is going to cause people to stop buying houses. They're going to not purchase cars. People just aren't going to have the finances to go out. So again, small businesses and things are going to suffer. So it's just this cycle repeating itself. So I feel like this is going to be a real light bulb moment in April, that people are going to get the gist of, like the gist of what's kind of happening. Like, oh, hang on a minute, now we're going into that sort of financial almost recession, I guess you could call it. And this is in every country. This isn't just here in Australia. This is what they want, and this is how this tyranny and dictatorships and global elites gain control. They then go for the economy and the monetary situations, but all the time remembering, of course, that they're building their wealth and their fortune. So this is something that I think a lot of people are going to start to wake up to in April, that, hang on, these global elites are doing quite well. They're benefiting when we're all suffering financially, and that's going to really start to come to fruition in April. People are going to really see the extremes of the global elites are still continuing to make money, still getting their wages, and we're all not benefiting from anything. We're all just over here suffering as the price of food, fuel, you name it, it all keeps going up. Prices of houses here in Australia is nuts. I don't know what it's like where you guys are. Comment down below and let me know what's sort of happening financially in your country. Obviously, petrol's something that's globally really rising very, very quickly. And I think that's what's going to scare people in April, is how far can this actually keep going? Like, when do they hit the pause button? When's our government going to hit the pause button and stop all this? Because that's going to put the fear in people, and that's what's now going to start freaking people out. The virus is still hovering around because, of course, that's the narrative, that they can keep the economy problems going. But the finances in April is going to really start to dominate. And I'll just see how we can kind of handle that in April. Yeah, they're just saying in April just to be very, very cautious of borrowing. Don't overspend. Don't overcapitalize. Don't do much movement in April. April's probably a time for sort of sitting and contemplating and thinking. So that's the message that I'm definitely getting for April around finances, is just to kind of sit in. They're showing me like a Buddha. So you kind of got to sit in that sort of Buddha position. And this is about having that consciousness and that common sense to really think about your decisions, because usual kind of your spirituality, which is like your gut feelings, your senses, when you're making these decisions, because I think we all know where this year's kind of pretty much heading on the financial the financial scale. It's going to get pretty batshit crazy, I'm actually going to say. So just, yeah, in April, just sit in your position and just really get your thoughts together, stay grounded, and don't move forward with too much haste. And that's the message that I'm getting for April. So look, thanks heaps for watching. I love hearing from you guys all around the globe. It's great to chat to each other. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Like I said in my other videos, I've got tons of self-help videos that can help you if you're feeling isolated, lonely, depressed, suicidal even. And I've also got some on attraction. If you want to follow up some body language and things like that, I've got those as well. And I will see you in that very next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.